Questioner. At what point in the densities is it necessary for an entity to be consciously aware of the law of one in order to progress? Ra. I am Ra. The fifth density harvest is of those whose vibratory distortions consciously accept the honor/duty of the law of one. This responsibility/honor is the foundation of this vibration. Questioner. Can you tell me a little more about this honor/responsibility concept? Ra. I am Ra. Each responsibility is an honor, each honor, a responsibility. Questioner. I want to ask a questionable question. I was wondering about cattle mutilations. Ra. I am Ra. The greater part of your so-called mutilations take place according to the ways of your second density beings which feed upon carrion. A portion of these so-called mutilations are those which are of what you may call multidimensional type. A thought form construct using various parts in order to have life and being in third density. Questioner. Where do these thought forms come from? Ra. I am Ra. This is a very ambiguous question. However, we will attempt to answer. Firstly, they come from the Creator. Secondly, they come from what you may call lower astral and plane thought. Thirdly, in construct visualization complex they reside in part beneath the crust of your frame. Questioner. Are these one form in particular? Ra. I am Ra. These entities may take any thought form associated with an emotion of fear or terror. Questioner. Are these thought forms able to attack only cattle, or can they also attack human beings? Ra. I am Ra. These thought forms cannot attack third density beings. Questioner. Can you tell me of the silver flecks that we have found sometimes on our faces or elsewhere? Ra. I am Ra. These of which you speak are a materialization of a subjectively oriented signpost indicating to one mind/body/spirit complex, and no other, a meaning of subjective nature. Questioner. Who creates these silver flecks? Ra. I am Ra. Picture, if you will, the increasing potential for learn/teaching. At some point a sign will be given to indicate the appropriateness or importance of that learn/teaching. The entity itself, in cooperation with the inner planes, creates whatever signpost is most understandable or noticeable to it. Questioner. I understand that we ourselves create this. Ra. I am Ra. Entities consciously do not create these. The roots of mind complex, having touched in understanding, intelligent infinity, create them. Questioner. Thank you. Is it possible for you to give a short description of the conditions in the fourth density? Ra. I am Ra. We ask you to consider as we speak that there are not words for positively describing fourth density. We can only explain what is not and approximate what is. Beyond fourth density our ability grows more limited still until we become without words. That which fourth density is not. It is not of words, unless chosen. It is not of heavy chemical vehicles for body complex activities. It is not of disharmony within self. It is not of disharmony within peoples. It is not within limits of possibility to cause disharmony in any way. Approximations of positive statements. It is a plane of a type of bipedal vehicle which is much denser and more full of life. It is a plane wherein one is aware of the thoughts of other selves. It is a plane where one is aware of vibrations of other selves. It is a plane of compassion and understanding of the sorrows of third density. It is a plane striving towards wisdom or light. It is a plane wherein individual differences are pronounced, although automatically harmonized by group consensus. Questioner. Could you define the word density as we have been using it? Ra. I am Ra. The term density is a, what you would call, mathematical one. The closest analogy is that of music, whereby after 7 notes, on your Western type of scale, if you will, the 8th note begins a new octave. Within your great octave of existence which we share with you, there are 7 octaves or densities. Within each density there are 7 sub-densities. Within each sub-density, 7 sub-sub-densities, and so on infinitely. Questioner. I notice that the time of this session has gone slightly over an hour. I would like to ask at this time if we should go on. What is the condition of the instrument? Ra. I am Ra. This instrument is in balance. It is well to continue, if you desire. Questioner. To continue with what we were just talking about. I understand that each density has 7 subdensities which again have 7 subdensities, and so on. This is expanding at an extremely large rate, as each is increased by powers of 7. Does this mean that in any density level anything that you can't think of is happening? Ra. I am Ra. From your confusion we select the concept with which you struggle, that being infinity/opportunity. You may consider any possibility/probability complex as having an existence. Questioner. Do things like daydreams become real in other densities? Ra. I am Ra. This depends upon the nature of the daydream. This is a large subject. Perhaps the simplest thing we can say is, if the daydream, as you call it, is one which attracts to self, this then becomes reality to self. If it is contemplative general daydream, this may enter the infinity of possibility/probability complexes, and occur elsewhere, having no particular attachment to the energy fields of the creator. Questioner. To make this a little more clear, if I were to daydream strongly about building a ship, would this occur in one of these other densities? Ra. I am Ra. This would have or shall occur. Questioner. Then if an entity daydreams strongly about battling an entity, would this occur? Ra. I am Ra. In this case the entity's fantasy concerns the self and other self. This binds the thought form to the possibility/probability complex connected with the self which is the creator of this thought form. This then would increase the possibility/probability of bringing this into third density occurrence. Questioner. Does the Orion group use this principle to create conditions favorable to suit their purpose? Ra. I am Ra. We will answer more specifically than the question. The Orion group uses daydreams of hostile or other negative natures to feed back or strengthen these thought forms. Questioner. Do they ever use any, shall I say, gratifications of the physical body through mental processes? Ra. I am Ra. They are able to do this only when there is a strong ability on the part of the receiving mind/body/spirit complex towards the perception of thought forms. This could be termed an unusual characteristic, but has indeed been a method used by Orion entities. Questioner. Are the many wanderers who have and are coming to our planet subject to the Orion thoughts? Ra. I am Ra. As we have said before, wanderers become completely the creature of third density in mind/body complex. There is just as much chance of such influence to a wanderer entity as to a mind/body/spirit complex of this planetary sphere. The only difference occurs in the spirit complex which, if it wishes, has an armor of light, if you will, which enables it to recognize more clearly that which is not, as it would appropriately be desired by the mind/body/spirit complex. This is not more than a bias, and cannot be called an understanding. Furthermore, the wanderer is, in its own mind/body/spirit complex, less distorted towards the, shall we say, deviousness of third density positive/negative confusions. Thus, it often does not recognize as easily as a more negative individual the negative nature of thoughts or beings. Questioner. Then would the wanderers, as they incarnate here, be high priority targets, shall we say, of the Orion group? Ra. I am Ra. This is correct. Questioner. If a wanderer should be successfully infringed upon, shall I say, by the Orion group, what would happen to this wanderer when harvest came? Ra. I am Ra. If the wanderer entity demonstrated through action a negative orientation towards other selves, it would be, as we have said before, called into the planetary vibration, and, when harvested, possibly repeat again the master cycle of third density as a planetary entity. This shall be the last full question of this session. Is there a short question we may answer before we close the session? Questioner. Can the instrument be made more comfortable? Ra. I am Ra. This instrument is as comfortable as it is possible for you to make it given the weakness distortions of its body complex. You are conscientious. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.